Grab your ovens and preheat your drinks. Today we're talking about head coaches that stink.
Hold
Today
on.
on
Wait. Did you mean to do the intro backwards?
yes.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was like, did you mean to do that? I was like, okay. A little rust, shaking off the rust. Haven't done this in a while.
All right. Anyways, welcome back to Chuckin Muffins. It's been a while. Hi, how have you been? Hope your New Year's was well. I hope you've
Did,
been enjoying the hockey that has
wait,
officially
we didn't.
returned.
We haven't done a podcast since. Oh my God, New Year's, like 2 days before New Year's was the last podcast. We have not recorded in 2021.
Yeah, this is our first pod
Jesus.
for 2021 that we're recording in 2021. Might I add? First thing we're gonna address is Keith Yandel almost had his Iron Man streak broken.
Stupidest reason. The stupidest reason. So Keith Yandel, I'm not exactly sure what his Iron Man streak is. I probably should look that up before we started.
It's in the 800.
It's in the 800. I'm pretty sure it's 860 or 870, somewhere around there. But that's not really the main concern. But that streak almost came to an end. Many people think, oh man, Keith Yandel was hurt. Maybe he got COVID, something like that. No, they just wanted to scratch him because, in quotes, he's not a part of the future in Florida. Is it? Like why? Like
The
and you're
reason
gonna
I don't like
see-
that. I'm sorry. I don't like that statement just because, like, obviously he's not part of the future considering he's near retirement age.
He's 34.
But exactly. But like, I understand he's not part of the future. But with that logic, does that mean fucking the Capitals should scratch Ovechkin because
Yeah,
he's not
because
in
he's
the
not a
future?
part of the future. Like that's just stupid. He's a part of the present, and presently the Florida Panthers are trying to make the playoffs. And having Keith Yandel in the lineup gives them the greatest chance at making the playoffs. Like he even scored yesterday. The guy scored his 100th goal yesterday. Like I just found that was crazy. But that whole situation with Yandel, I just thought it was fucked up. Like entirely, it was just fucked up. Like I don't know if it was coaching, I don't know if it was management, I don't know what it was that wanted him scratched. That's just bullcrap though. Like you're gonna risk an 800 plus consecutive game streak just because he wasn't part of the future. Even though I'd say
That
at least the top three defender, no questions asked on that team, right?
top two.
Yeah,
Some could argue.
maybe you
myself,
could
top
throw.
one.
Maybe you can throw like I don't know. You can make an argument for Uyghur because he's more defensive, or even like Gudas. But like still, there's no argument in my book. He's a top three defender on that team. I don't know. I don't know why they would even think about scratching him. I don't know. It just kind of pisses me off. And Joel Quenneville's not a bad coach either. Won 3 cups with the Hawks, proven coach, one of the best all time. But like, why? Like even people were clowning on Florida on Twitter. We're just making that. Like what? Like I don't know. I didn't get the decision making behind that. At least they played him. That's all I can say. At least they played him.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
If I ever hear that shit again, I'm gonna be pissed.
It's gonna continue because there's been rumors that he might be off to Boston. Did you hear about that? Or he's been rumored to go to Boston.
I actually haven't heard that, but I'm curious as to what you think a return for that could be.
I don't know because he's making a pretty decent amount of money. He's making 6.4, 6 point something. He's making
Let
a
me
decent
check
amount of
on my
money.
new handy dandy second monitor, which I got in the
Yeah.
interim of our last podcast, where I'm looking to my right now.
Wow.
Keith
we got?
Yandel is making 6.35 for 3 more
that was
years
close.
at age 34.
And he also has a no move clause on top of that, which was kind of the main problem in all of this situation. So apparently Yandel didn't want to waive his no move, which I clearly understand. You have the right. That's why you have that. So he didn't want to waive it. So I guess Florida didn't want to play him. They ended up playing him. There was an outrage. Apparently it was his teammates that just flip shit. I don't blame him. If my teammate had that, I'd flip shit too. Like that's just absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know. Hopefully everything gets sorted out. But based off a return, I don't know. Oh, would they be paying for them to take Yandel? It's like it's one of those situations. Like
Based
the salary
on
cap's so fucked up.
I feel like just based on the fact that like they want him out, yeah. Like if you're getting rid of a player because I don't know, like they don't fit there, then yeah, you can get a good return. But if it's a situation like this where you want him gone, then yeah, you're gonna have to pay to get
Because
rid of him.
every NHL team knows that Florida's trying to get rid of him now. So they're not going to be like, all right, Florida, we'll just throw us a second round pick. But like that's not going to happen.
The only thing though is he's 34 with 3 years left, making a decent amount of money.
That's
He
what I'm
is still
saying.
playing really well, but how much longer in that 3-year span is that going to last?
And also, what type of player really is Keith Yandle at this point? He's not a guy that's going to play 25 minutes a night on your first pair. He's not. That's not who Keith Yandle is. He's going to play second pair, third player, be a power play specialist. And being frank, that's kind of what the Boston Bruins need. They need some depth defenders that can play on the power play. That's what they need. Because right now they got Grizzlick being that power play specialist. Grizzlick's great and all. He's a little overpaid in our book, but Yandle will be that and better. So I think it makes sense for the Bruins to maybe go after him. I don't know what their salary cap situation looks like, so might push things back. I'm pretty sure they're pretty close to the salary cap, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe they make it work. Maybe Florida retains half on that. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, just a shot situation. Hopefully Yandle stays in the lineup or he just gets moved because that's kind of bullcrap. So let's move on to some smaller news. Ben Hutton signs a 1-year, $950K contract with the Anaheim Ducks. What are your thoughts on that signing?
Fuck it. That's what it's so weird with Anaheim. There's no like moves that are gonna like really impact them for a while. But that's pretty much just he's kind of just there for
depth.
The season, yeah.
Decent cheap signing. Anaheim's got room. They need players to play on the blue line. They got Lindholm, Fowler, Manson, a couple other guys in there. So Hutton just adds some nice depth, complements them well. Might even be on taxi squad. I don't know. We'll see. Hasn't played with the team yet. So we'll see what happens there. Some other news. Marcus Foligno signs a contract extension with Minnesota Wild. 3.1 for 3 years. Little Steve, my book. What do you think?
What was it? 3 years you said?
3 years, 3.1 AAV.
That's a bit much.
For
that is,
I'd say a third line checker.
You know what that sounds like? You know what team sounds like would sign a contract like that?
The New York Islanders.
Yeah, right? Like just like such a bottom 6 player, giving him a little bit too long of a term, definitely a little bit too much money. Fucking, I don't know.
I would have went like 2 years, 2.5. That sounds a little more reasonable. But
that's like max, I feel like though. That's the highest I would go with Foligno.
From what I heard, he's a really solid defensive forward, plays really good defensively in the bottom 6. So I mean, Minnesota, who knows? He could be the number 1 center. Honestly, on Minnesota.
Well, it says here he plays wing only.
Oh, I was making a joke because they have no centers. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays in the third line, fourth line, bottom 6. Shuts it down out there. So I wouldn't want it on my team, but I guess it works on Minnesota. Maybe it's like a Kevin Hayes type of deal where it looks a little pricey, but it works in the team. So could be one of those. I don't know. I wouldn't have signed that contract, though. I don't think you would have either. So moving on to another signing, Dylan Strome was an RFA, signed before the season started, signed a $3 million 2-year deal. What are your thoughts on that deal?
Strome for how much was it?
What was it? $3 million for 2 years.
$3 million for 2 years.
Yep.
Question is, does that take him to RFA?
I'd say it does. That's just a guess, though.
It actually Strome. It does. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So not too terrible.
Then yeah, no problem. That's actually a decent amount of. That's actually a pretty good contract. He actually plays he found Chicago's probably where he's gonna stay for the rest of his career at this point.
I'd imagine. He really broke out, came onto the scene, came over from Arizona. Arizona, 3rd overall pick, really never got a chance to crack the lineup. So went to Chicago, played second line with, I wouldn't really call it the second line, but he played with Kane and DeBrincat. I think he played with DeBrincat and Kane. So played with those. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did too, but played with those guys. He's going to get a bigger opportunity to play now that Taves is out. So I'd imagine he's probably the number 1 center, maybe number 2. So he's going to get a good opportunity. Hopefully big things coming number 3 overall pick Dylan Strome's way. We'll see. Some other small news. Aaron Dell's claimed by the New Jersey Devils. So what do you think the impact that Dell will have on New Jersey?
So I don't really let's before I address that, let's address the fact that why was he taken by Toronto fucking in the first place?
I don't know. I even expressed that on here. I thought Dell could have been given a chance to be a starter. That's how well he played down the stretch with the Sharks, who were not great defensively. And that really Jesus Christ. That really proves that Aaron Dell really had something going there. So I thought maybe he'd get a chance to be at least a 1B. like at least. But he signs in Toronto where he's the clear number 3 goalie, which really just never made sense to me. So Toronto puts him on waivers. The Devils pick him up. How I think he'll do with the Devils? I'd say pretty good. Blackwood plays really good. He has like a ridiculous save percentage right now. He's like got like a 950, I think, right now. So maybe Dell slides into that system, continues to play well, and maybe New Jersey gets himself a pretty good goalie tandem.
Well, yeah, because when Crawford, Corey Crawford retired.
Oh, God, I totally forgot about
in our
that.
absence, by the way. Corey Crawford, if you didn't know, Corey Crawford. Here's the thing, though. Their situation changed. They went from essentially having Blackwood and Crawford kind of just split roles. Now it's looking more like Blackwood's going to be the predominant starter, and Dell's kind of just going to be the backup at this point, especially because based on the payments. Because then again, Dell was taken off waivers, but still, I don't see. I don't know. He's a reliable backup. I don't think it's going to be a 1A, 1B though.
We'll see. Blackwood is young. He could falter down the stretch. Maybe Dell gets some starts here and there, but I think he'll play. He'll at least play with the Devils. I can tell you that because I don't think there's a clear backup there. I think they got Scott Wedgwood. I think that's about it. But he's more of a number 3 goalie. So, hopefully Dell succeeds in New Jersey. I'd surely love to see him too. I love Aaron Dell. More news about the New Jersey Devils. They actually, once again, in our absence, I'd say like a week ago, honestly, they signed Sammy Vatanen to a $2 million deal for 1 year. What are your thoughts on how Vatanen might impact the Devils' blue line?
Didn't we predict that would happen?
Did we?
Pretty sure we did. We said it was going to be Boston or New Jersey.
Look at us.
I just want to point out, like 90% of what we say on here usually happens.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Like a small range of what could happen, and then it does happen.
Yeah, we'll talk about like maybe he goes there and he ends up going there. Like, oh wow, look at that. So hey, we're pretty good. But how do you think Vatanen actually? What do you think he'll do for the Devils?
I mean, he's honest. Some could make the argument he's the best defenseman there. Fucking.
Is he?
I mean, Vatanen's extremely. Bad. He's underrated, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you can make the argument for it. I think Severson probably takes that.
Or either PK. Throw Subban in there, too. He played 30 minutes opening night. Did you see that? Subban
Did he actually?
He played half the game, 30 minutes.
Rookie Ty Smith scored in his first goal. Scored in his first NHL game. Okay. So, I mean, Ty Smith could be on the come up, too. But
maybe.
Good power play quarterback. Honestly, Vatanen overall is just super underrated, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a solid third, fourth defender. Got some offensive capabilities. He's not bad. Provides exactly what New Jersey needs. They need offense. So anything will truthfully help that team. So Vatanen will be a solid addition. Also, more news with the New Jersey Devils. Jesper Bratt gets re-signed, $2.75 for 2 years. I'd say a pretty good deal on that part. What'd you think?
He's only 22. Yeah, it takes an RFA. He actually. I remember a few years ago, he had a really, really, really hot start.
And he's been kind of been kind of cold since. He's been – honestly, he's been hot and cold. He's one of those players that'll have like 7 points in 10 games and then have 3 in 20. Or like 3 in 15. He's one of those guys. So it's a solid contract for New Jersey. Hopefully Bratt can sort his inconsistencies out, figure out how to be a full top 6 forward. So we'll see without that. What should we move on to next? All right, let's move on to, I'd say, the last bit of the small news. So Jason Spezza got put on waivers. When this goes up, I don't know, but it was yesterday. Was he? I think it was yesterday for us. So Spezza got put on waivers yesterday, and he even spoke out and said if he gets claimed, he'd retire. So pretty interesting words there from Spezza. What do you take out of that?
I don't really understand why,
right?
So what I'm hearing is that he would rather play in the Toronto AHL system.
Oh, I don't know if he's in the AHL. They might have just sent him down to taxi squad.
Taxi squad. Okay.
Yeah.
So either one, just not play at all, or B, play in the AHL in Toronto, where instead of a team that claims him that could use him like a depth forward, and he would be playing every night.
This might be the thing. Is he from Toronto? Do you know that? I think he is. Really? I'm pretty sure he's from Toronto. And if he is, that kind of makes sense. He's old. He's 37, 38. Yeah, he's from Toronto. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. Doesn't want to leave home. He's probably got family there. He'd rather, at this point in his career, just probably play on the bench.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, you're right.
Then say get claimed by a New Jersey, gets claimed by Anaheim and LA and have to go
Yeah,
fly out and
okay.
play for them.
That
So
makes sense.
It does make sense. So can't really fault him for that. He wants to stay with his family.
Just completely unnecessarily moving his family for like what, one more year?
One more season, yeah. Because honestly, how many years does Spezza have left? I'd say this is probably his last year.
Yeah. Same thing
So
with Jumbo. It's probably both their last years.
hey, we'll see. Jumbo's still got left. If he's playing on the first line with Toronto, he's got no reason to retire. So that's just my opinion. I think Patty Marleau's going to retire before Thornton, though. He's not playing too much in San Jose. He's on the fourth line, but hey, we'll see. So good for Spezza. Stand his ground, not letting New Jersey or Anaheim, LA, one of those crap teams, or even Ottawa. He could have went back to Ottawa if they claimed him. He would have been a decent fit there, eh? So we'll see. Hey, he's sticking in Toronto, though, playing in the taxi squad. So let's move on to a little news up your alley. So Tony DeAngelo has had, I'd say, a rough start to this season. So, Eddie, would you like to explain what's been going on with Mr. Tony DeAngelo so far?
On the ice or off the ice?
Why don't you go both? Why not?
All right, so here's what let's just I'm going to say this now. Tony DeAngelo is not going to be a Ranger by the year 2022. Here's why. Because history has this thing with sports where when a player is completely disliked by everybody, like even Ranger fans don't like DeAngelo anymore. Like I still like him because I don't really give a shit about this, but DeAngelo has been putting his political opinion all over social. Like he deleted his Twitter when Donald Trump got suspended or whatever off Twitter because he's a huge Trump guy and he just won't stop. Like he's down your throat about it. Like I said, like I have no political view. However, I understand why people are annoyed by this because it's not his view that annoys me. It's how fucking in your face he is about it. So based on that, usually when an athlete is like that, they're usually like served like karma, like literal sports karma, like fucking Juju Smith. That's a football reference. He like everyone fucking hates Juju Smith-Schuster now because he's an asshole. Fucking Tony DeAngelo, he got scratched after game 1 against the New York Islanders after a 4-0 loss and a complete embarrassment of a performance by the Rangers. Tony DeAngelo was scratched after that game, and he's appearing to be scratched tomorrow too, the 19th of January, as today's the 18th. And everyone's kind of confused, including myself, because DeAngelo wasn't the issue, it was the entire team, and the fact that Jack Johnson had 2 primary assists for the Islanders that night. It doesn't really make sense. So I'm assuming there's got to be something going on behind the scenes in the locker room that David Quinn is scratching DeAngelo for, because to be honest, like you can't just put all the blame on him. In fact, the only defenseman who's actually been pretty impressive so far is Jacob Trouba. Believe it or not, it's been Jacob Trouba.
Oh my God, how the tables have turned. Fucking, I don't know. It's just such a weird situation. Honestly, I wasn't really aware of all the like political issues that DeAngelo had. I guess you want to call them political issues, winning his Twitter and everything. You know, that's got to probably anger, I guess, some of his teammates, I think, right? Maybe his coaching staff doesn't like the way he's speaking so freely on Twitter like that. Just, I don't know. But if I'm the Rangers organization, I'm more concerned with how he plays on the ice. So in game 1, how did he play? Like game 1 of the season, how did he play? Did he like, was his play good? Like, what would you say?
I would say in game 1, because I remember watching this game, I was so fucking embarrassed to watch this game. I was like, I rushed home from work to make sure I didn't miss puck drop, and then they just shoved this down my throat. The takeaway that I had was, I would say DeAngelo was one of the better defensemen, but that's not a good thing considering there was only one defenseman who I actually was like, okay, he's doing pretty good, was Trouba, because Fox had a really bad game. Lindgren was kind of just whatever.
Yeah.
Keandre Miller's a rookie, so
you can't expect, can't expect too much.
He looked really tense. It was weird. He looked really tense. Jack Johnson, I don't even want to fucking talk about that. And I think Brandon Smith was scratched, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's Tony. Tony didn't really have a bad game. He didn't have a great game. He
didn't Tony start on the third pair? Like, didn't he play in the third pair?
I think he did.
So maybe he had a bad camp. Maybe I don't really know.
I don't really know. I don't really see the reasoning for, because now that we beat the Islanders 5-0 when Tony was benched, now David Quinn's be like, maybe that's the solution. And don't get me wrong, there's such thing as locker room cancer. If Tony is a locker room cancer and we're just not seeing it, then that makes sense. But
Yeah,
as
that's
far
what
as
I
I'm
kind of
aware,
figured.
he's not. He's a social media cancer according to everyone else.
From what I've heard years ago, like when he played for Arizona, he was in their system. He had a little bit of like an attitude problem. Do you remember or recall anything like that? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he had a bit of an attitude problem. So maybe those issues are coming out again, where he's not playing that well and he's being a cancer in the locker room. Like you really just never know. You'd only really tell what's going on the ice, and that isn't always what's actually happening. So, and you started off your little, I wouldn't really say rant, but like your little speech on Tony. You started off with he's not going to be. You don't think he's going to be a Ranger past this year.
Everyone is super adamant that he's not. He's going to get traded by the deadline. I think he might get traded at the draft, depending on how that goes. It's either the deadline or the draft, or he stays. But I don't really see him staying.
So, based on where he could go, what do you think he with the Rangers could get in return, and what do you think maybe a suitor could be for Tony?
I would say, all right. We don't need forwards. I'm super happy with the forward core because realistically, a lot of it's young. Like
Exactly,
obviously,
yeah.
Lafreniere doesn't have a point on the season yet. It's 2 games in. He's 19 years old. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
He's gonna grow. Kako looks better already. Everyone looks fine on offense, especially after the last game they played. Defense, however, we have Trouba. If Trouba keeps playing this way, then Trouba's gonna be wonderful there. We got Miller, who I think is going to be a really good offensive defense. We got Lindgren, who's going to be a really good 2-way, and then we got Fox, who's going to be very good offensive. That's 4, and then that leaves 2 spots left.
Nose length.
Brennan Smith and Jack Johnson. But don't see them being on this team next year. Neither of them. So yep, Nils Lindqvist is probably going to come up because he looks really good. He's been looking great. I don't think Schneider's ready. Going to be ready
not for next year, but he'll be there.
But I'm saying if we end up trading Tony, then we got to get some sort of defensive defenseman in return.
You know what? You know what team just automatically stood out? A team that's going to trade for him?
Who?
Fucking Vegas. I don't know why. Vegas. I was thinking of
Pietrangelo to the Rangers. Pietrangelo to the Rangers.
Can't even fucking afford him. Get out of here. But fuck it. I don't know what the return would be, but I can just see that working out. I can just say it. I don't know what the return would be. Maybe in Edmonton? Something. Maybe in Ottawa? I don't know.
Tony going to Edmonton?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or Ottawa. I don't know. I'm just naming out teams that maybe could be suitors that might need him.
Like I said, they pretty much need defensive defensemen as their return, or picks. But I don't really see that happening.
I think draft picks honestly might be more likely than a young defenseman for a bit older defenseman that has attitude problems. That just doesn't seem like a smart trade. I don't think any
team's gonna buy. Well, no, we could always hit up Pittsburgh and probably.
You probably
get John Marino out of it.
Yeah, maybe a first-round pick as well.
Marino and a first for Tony. It seems like something Jim Rutherford would do.
Honestly, as Marino is probably right now the better defender than Tony. So that just works. Yeah. Just works out for both sides. So moving on from that, let's talk about – we talked about Edmonton a little bit before. Let's talk about Edmonton now. So their number 2 goalie is Mike Smith. We at least I stated how the Edmonton Oilers need to get someone better if they want to commit to a long playoff run. They need to get a better goalie. They didn't. They re-signed Mike Smith, and now he's out long term. So now what the Edmonton Oilers have in net is not looking too pretty. So they got Mikko Koskinen as their starter, and the backup right now is Stuart Skinner. He's 22 years old. If I were to think that's not the backup goalie they're going to end the season with, I'd at least hope not. They have Troy Grosnick on taxi squad, who once again is more suited as an AHL starter. So now that Edmonton has that big glaring hole and that number 2 goalie situation, what do you think they do?
Well, to be honest, there's really not much you can do except for like maybe trade for a goalie, but like,
you know what I kind of thought, you know what team's got 2 young goalies that they could use to part way with one of them? You know
Arizona.
Which team? No, I said young goalies.
Oh, okay. No,
Columbus.
I thought you were talking about the Rangers.
Nope, I was not talking about the Rangers. I'm talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets. Do you think it could be Could
That's not a
happen.
bad thought. That's actually
That's
not a bad thought at
what I'm
all.
saying. Maybe
To be honest, though,
I'd say it's Merzlikins over Korpisalo, but
as in you,
yeah, where
as
to go?
in
Yeah, Merzlikins to go rather than Korpisalo, because I think Korpisalo is their guy.
you could honestly roll either one, but
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I thought I to be honest, I'm a bigger fan of Merzlikins, but either one seems pretty admirable.
Because Korpisalo got most of the starts in the playoffs, and he got the opener. So I inferring that they're gonna go with Korpisalo over Merzlikins. And dude, if Merzlikins were to go to Edmonton, I think that might work out big time. But I could also see it being a bit of a Cam Talbot situation. Starts off really well, then kind of sizzles out. But I don't know.
You know why? I don't know. I think Korpisalo would make more sense because if it is Merzlikins going, that would mean that they're paying their goalie tandem $8.5 million collective.
How many more years does Korpisalo have left? Not
They
Korpisalo.
both-
I meant Koskinen. He has 2 years left. Okay.
All three goalies in this situation have 2 years left.
Okay. I don't know. Or, I mean, Edmonton probably would have loved for Aaron Dell to fall far enough in the waiver wire for them to pick him up, but that obviously didn't happen. I don't know. Like, who's even out there? Like, besides, like, those two, Merzlikins, Korpisalo, maybe you look at Arizona, which you mentioned before. Maybe Aranta's on the move, but for, like, seemingly, if Koskinen's their guy, why are they going to go out and get an Antti Ranta, who's basically better or the same as Korpisalo? Not Korpisalo, Koskinen, Jesus Christ. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You know what's weird is Stuart Skinner was once like a pretty highly revered goalie prospect too. Now
he could surprise us, and we could just be talking about this for nothing. Has he played in the NHL yet or not?
I don't think so. And let's be realistic; he's only 22. That's really young for a goalie. To assume he's going to develop already is kind of far fetched.
So his AHL stats, Jesus Christ, he's not. He had barely a 900 save percentage in the ECHL last year.
In the ECHL.
No, he didn't even have a 900 save percentage. He didn't have a 900 save percentage in the ECHL last year.
And that's a league lower than the AHL.
Yeah, for people that don't know. Oh boy, Edmonton.
This could be very problematic.
So they got to add someone unless they're planning on rolling with Grosnick, which just doesn't make sense because he's not an NHL goalie, in my opinion. He's an NHL goalie. So maybe New Jersey trades Dell after they just acquired him. Maybe, Anton Forsberg's been on like 5 different teams in the past week. Maybe he finds his way to fucking Edmonton. I don't know.
Well, Jersey they picked up
Dell.
No, before that they picked up Eric Comrie from Winnipeg.
True. Oh, okay. So they do have goalies. New Jersey does have 3 goalies. So maybe Comrie or Dell. They pay like a 5th round, 4th round pick, get a goalie. I don't know. Or maybe they just roll Stuart Skinner, give him some NHL experience.
Realistically speaking, like I say this all the time, especially if Carey Price's name comes up, I always say this. Like a backup goalie is so fucking important.
It's so important.
Like it really is.
You need a backup. If you don't have a solid backup, you're not going to go anywhere. Like Tampa or Elvis Merzlikins. Look at the Blues. They had Jake Allen when they won the Cup. Look at what team won for the Blues? Capitals. Look who they had. They had I think they still had a Grubauer at that point. So there's good goalies. They have good backups. So I don't know. If Edmonton wants to make a run, which they're planning on making, whenever you have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on your team, you're going to be making a run. So looking at this, I just keep saying fucking Korpisalo, Koskinen, and Stuart Skinner is not going to be enough to make a playoff run. It's not. So they're going to need a guy. What guy that is, I have no idea. You have no idea. Could be Dell. Could be Merzlikins. Could be Korpisalo. Could be Ranta.
Could be Comrie.
Could be Comrie. Could be
a lot of things.
Yeah, it could be. So, moving on from that, let's talk about. Let's stay in Canada. Let's talk about the Canucks. So, Vancouver, as we talked about many, many times, as a lot of people talked about, they got killed in this offseason. They lost so much. They lost Tanev, they lost Markstrom, they lost Stetcher, and they lost Toffoli. That's 4 big pieces of that team. They've done a little bit to recoup some assets. So they picked up Holtby as we noted. They picked up Schmidt, and now they picked up Hamonic. So Travis Hamonic signs with the Canucks. I think it was 1.2, 1.15 for 1 year. How do you think that impacts Vancouver Canucks blue line?
I mean, Hamonic's kind of, I don't want to say underrated. He's really, I remember like a huge complaint when he was an Islander from all the Islander fans was he cannot skate, which is kind of bigger asset for defensemen than you'd expect. But 1.25, and to be honest, probably a depth role, maybe top 4,
maybe top 4
on a good day. That's assuming because think about it. Hughes, Schmidt, Myers, Edler. I don't know if Hamonic's gonna break that.
He could. It all depends what pair
That's
he
what
ends
I'm
up
saying.
on.
Yeah.
If he works out with a Quinn Hughes, say they try with Quinn Hughes, he works out. He's going to play with Quinn Hughes. It's as simple as that. So he might get an opportunity to play, but he's going to get a decent opportunity to be in the top 6. Probably play penalty kill. So I like Hamonic. I think he's a decent defender. I think he'll fit in with the Canucks pretty well.
What team was Hamonic on before he signed there?
Calgary. He played in Calgary.
That's for taking our guys. Yeah, we got Hamonic now. Fuck you.
We don't need Markstrom. We don't need Tanev. We'll take fucking Hamonic. Yeah. Have fun with that, Vancouver. But some more good news for Vancouver. They get JT Miller back tonight. Out first 2 games with COVID, and that's going to help them a lot because they went 0 for 11 on the power play so far this year. Isn't very good. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, not very good. So he'll slide in on the top line with Pedersen and Besser. Hopefully make that power play a little better because, Jesus Christ, that was looking a little rough. What are your expectations for Vancouver this year? I know we talked about it like a couple weeks ago. I forgot what you said, Dev. Did you have Vancouver making the playoffs? And does this impact your decision or affect your decision on whether Vancouver might miss or make it?
What, that Hamonic's on?
Yeah, Hamonic's on.
Hamonic's not going to be a deal maker or breaker. However, Vancouver is going to. I don't know. They lost 3 really big pieces.
That's what I'd say 4. I'd say Stetcher's a pretty big piece.
Some could argue that they replaced 2 of them moderately well.
But I'd say arguably maybe the second most important one was the top 6 forward.
Exactly. But
that did kind of come within, though. Nils Hoglander is playing in the top 6 now. Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to say Hoglander made it. Pedersen is just
a fucking animal.
I'm somehow getting better every fucking year. Like, slow down, please. Like, JT Miller, honestly, one of the most underrated.
Yeah, no, he's so underrated. I love.
He's been underrated since he was a Ranger. I always remember saying that, and everyone's like, "Who the fuck is that?" And I'm like, "Fuck you." Maybe I don't know. I could see them being a fringe playoff team.
I can agree with that. If everything that can go right goes right, they'll be the playoffs. But if a couple things go wrong, they're out that quick. Because that division is just so tight. There's 6 teams that could easily make the playoffs, and there's only 4 spots. So teams are going to miss out. I think Vancouver's still on the outside looking in, but Hamonic certainly helps that cause, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So Vancouver. So moving on to the second last thing we're going to talk about in this podcast, and arguably the biggest. So Columbus has a forward named Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's been in a lot of trade rumors recently. So he requested a trade, I'd say probably about a week ago. Kind of came out before he signed his extension, which his extension was 2 years, $5 million per, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Wait, what did you just say it was?
His contract's $5 million for 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'd say a pretty solid contract for a pretty young player. You know, he got 2 more years of development in Columbus, but as I said before, he requested a trade. So where do you think Pierre-Luc Dubois could possibly end up?
Well, this is pretty much known. Like he wants to go to Montreal.
Correct.
His last name is Dubois, and he has 2 first names. If that doesn't say French Canadian, then I don't know what the fuck does.
Yeah.
So the only thing he's missing is an accent over one of the letters in his name. However, the big return that I've heard so far, like that's or not likely, but like that people are assuming would make sense, is Montreal sends over Nick Suzuki.
That's what I heard as well.
Hear me out though. If I'm Montreal, I don't do it.
hanging up the phone. Honestly, I think Suzuki's the real deal. I think he could be better or just as good as Dubois.
Right? Like he
So
looks
there's
really fucking good.
so from Montreal's side, this is what I've heard. Romanov's an untouchable, so he will not be part of the deal. Suzuki, they do not want to trade Suzuki, but I think they would rather deal other pieces. And those pieces, which this is what I've heard, Montreal wants to offer or has offered Kotkaniemi and Victor Mete. So they have offered those two pieces for Pierre-Luc Dubois. Do you think that's enough to pry him from Columbus?
Those two alone?
I think maybe a draft pick. It's so tight. It's so close.
Kotkaniemi's got something special that I've
No, he looked
for
really good in the
as well.
play-in. He looks so good.
I don't know, but to be honest, I'm just thinking like, why are you? Because think about it, Kotkaniemi and Suzuki. Why not just build around them? Maybe find a different way to get Dubois out of there. Maybe
I don't think you get one. I think it's got to be one of those two, Kotkaniemi or Suzuki. If not, if I'm Columbus, I'm hanging up the phone.
Fuck that then. Just send Dubois somewhere. He doesn't want to stay. Like you don't keep a player that does not want to be there because then it's just gonna turn into another Matt Duchene and your whole franchise going under. Fucking don't do that. But the only other forward I would think could potentially be in talks if they add something else is Drouin.
I didn't even think about Drouin. Two forwards that, Drouin's a little older than Dubois. Drouin's had opportunities to produce and hasn't. Dubois has produced when given opportunity. So I definitely market the value higher for Dubois, and I'm pretty sure you agree with me on that. So maybe, I don't know, man. But if I'm Columbus, that's a risk. Like if I'm taking on Kotkaniemi, you're probably getting a top 6 center. That could be a first-line center, which Dubois might be. If I'm looking at Jonathan Drouin, I'm looking at a second-line forward. I don't know, man.
All I'm saying is Kotkaniemi and Suzuki should also be in the untouchables. If they're going to get rid of one, I vote they get rid of Kotkaniemi.
As well, yeah. If they're going to make that trade, you got to trade Kotkaniemi. You can't – I don't know. Suzuki's so good, dude. He's so good.
Suzuki's one of those prospects that he was already good, but then, like, his development is, like, going really fast.
Yeah, really fast. It was way too accelerated. So I think big things are coming Suzuki's way, and I feel like you just can't part away with that. You can't. So, but maybe another team Dubois settles on if Montreal doesn't, work out. I've heard Winnipeg as a potential suitor. I've also heard over 20 teams called Columbus on Dubois. So there's a lot of interest out there, obviously, because Dubois is a really good forward. But if we're looking at Winnipeg, and if I'm Columbus, if Cole Perfetti is not part of that deal, it's a no deal for me. Or, you know who else in Winnipeg wants to leave?
Don't say it.
Patrick Laine for Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Okay,
how unreasonable is that?
Well, let's think. Does Laine want to leave, or does Winnipeg want to get rid of Laine?
I don't even know. I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay, so hypothetically, if that were to happen, this kind of leaves Montreal back. Oh wait, why am I saying Montreal? Fucking Columbus. Fucking okay. Laine to Columbus for.
Dude, I'd say that's straight up. I think that's got to be straight up, right?
Well, they're both the same age. They're both going to be
same draft year. Drafted number 2 and number 3.
However, you're getting two different players. The thing with Laine, though, is we always say this. He's a goal scorer. You don't come by that often.
Columbus needs that. Columbus needs that goal scorer. Winnipeg's, they got Kyle Connor. They got Ehlers. They need a solid playmaking center in Pierre-Luc Dubois to perfectly fit. And we go to Columbus. We got some decent centers. You got Foudy. You got Texier. They're not there yet, but they're going to be there in the future. They got Benstrom in there, too.
All right.
Dubois hurts because they need centers. But Laine is
the
so
thing
good.
to think about there is Stastny's got 1 year left on his deal. If he does not stay there, then that leaves a huge
glaring hole.
Exactly, that Dubois could fill. So that's possible. Actually.
Dude, it makes sense. It makes sense.
And then Laine is just gonna end up leaving because no one wants to stay in Columbus.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna leave. Oh my god, imagine. Oh my god. I can't even imagine that. Panarin leaves, Bobrovsky leaves, Duchesne leaves, Dubois asks for a trade, and they get Laine and Laine fucking walks. Oh my god.
I don't know. All I'm saying is by the deadline, Dubois is going to be on a different team.
You think so?
It just
I think it could turn into a Matt Duchesne situation where they just wait and wait and wait and then fucking nail the trade. Nail it. Could we see a 3-way trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois?
You can never really predict a 3-way trade.
That's what. Yeah, it's completely random.
You kind of just find out about it on like the day of the deal.
Have we seen a 3-way trade since the Duchesne one? I don't think we have. If that was really small, we'll go with that.
Yeah, nothing.
Duchesne got traded in 2017 or 2016 from the Avalanche to the Blue Jackets or the Senators. My bad.
I think 17.
I'd say because they went on the run. The Senators went to the the conference final in 17. Was Duchesne on the team though? That I don't know. I don't think he was. Dude, was it 2018?
I don't know about that. I'm not really sure.
Late 2017, maybe. I don't know, but it really doesn't matter too much. But yeah, no, that's really interesting. Dude, Laine for Dubois.
Oh fuck that! I just thought of a better trade.
Shoot.
Pierre-Luc Dubois for Tony DeAngelo.
Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck
out
of here.
And
what?
Ryan Strome.
No. That's not enough for me. A disgruntled
because you're dumb.
A disgruntled attitude problem defenseman for a center that plays with Panarin.
Well, buddy, think about it. We already got Lafreniere, who's a French Canadian. We get another one.
I know, but I'm talking about Columbus' side of this, not your side of this. What does Columbus get?
Columbus wants.
They get a center that's going to drop off like Vlad Nemestikov when you trade for him, and a defenseman that's got attitude problems. No. No.
They don't have to know that.
If I know that, I'm pretty sure Jarmo Kekalainen knows that. So
that's the thing. His name is so Finnish. Like, how good is his English?
I think it's pretty decent. He's an NHL GM, and he's got to talk to the phone. He's got to talk on the phone with people. You know.
That's very true.
I'd imagine it doesn't not fucking broken English. Maybe that's why fucking everyone leaves Columbus. Can't understand what the fuck Jarmo's saying.
Someone offers him a Happy Meal for like fucking Dubois. He just doesn't know what's going on. He's like,
okay. It's like, whatever, I think I'm hungry. But fuck it, that was Indian, that's not even Finnish, whatever. But
close enough.
I'd say it's close enough too. But yeah, it's interesting. If you were to say odds of 1 to 10, as in 10 being the highest odds, 1 being the lowest, how likely is a Pierre-Luc Dubois for Patrick Laine 1-for-1?
I'm going to go 4 for now, just because...
I was going to say 4 too.
Just because Montreal seems pretty adamant into giving up one of those two. I don't agree with it.
Neither do I.
I really don't, but it's just kind of how the NHL works.
If Montreal doesn't work out, Winnipeg, that can really be it.
You said something about Perfetti going the other way. Fuck that. I would not move Perfetti.
I wouldn't either, but would you move Patrick Laine over Cole Perfetti? Really? Because Laine, like that, if you look at it with that logic. Because if you're trading Perfetti, it's Perfetti, and if you're trading Laine, it's just Laine.
You got to realize you also said that 20 teams called for him.
That is true. 20 teams at least inquired, see what was going on.
There are plenty of teams that could send something over. Like, what team needs a first line center?
Nashville
could use one.
Hold up. This is way out of the question, but Dante Fabro for Pierre-Luc Dubois. Straight up.
Yeah, but I don't know about that one because does Columbus really need the defense?
I mean, they could use defense, but they can definitely use offense more. I just want to comment on something real quick. I just got a Twitter notification that do you know what the Leafs are playing right now?
It's definitely not Montreal. Who are they playing?
I don't know. I'm just low-key asking. They're playing Winnipeg. Guess what the shot totals are at the moment. 19-1. 19-1 in
Who's got
favor of
19?
Toronto. Dude, Pierre-Luc Dubois in Winnipeg. It's not looking too bad right about now. And then again, Pacioretty is out with an upper body injury. I was going to write that down, but didn't think that was, little important enough. And OEL is also out a month, I'd say. So just throwing that out there. Evander Kane fucked him up, so that's why he's out. No surprise.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the whole Evander Kane situation?
Yeah, it should be touched on.
I kind of forgot about that. I'm not going to lie. All right, so I'd say, or a couple days ago, Evander Kane filed for, I don't know what chapter it was. I don't think it was disclosed, but he filed for bankruptcy. He is, I think, $26 million in debt. He owes money to some casinos in Vegas, which is ironic. He owes, I think, some money in his assault case from a few years ago when he's playing Buffalo. So, and he just got some whatever else he owes. He owes money them. So, sucks for Evander Kane. There was some rumors that his contract might be terminated and he might not even play this season, but obviously that's not true as he's already playing with the Sharks, so that's not of concern. But yeah, we'll leave. I really can't speak for Evander Kane on what's going on. That's just what's been disclosed. So I don't really think there's anything else to say. Do you want to say anything about it?
No, there's nothing to talk about. It's
what
just
I'm saying. It's just newsworthy, I guess.
It happened.
So, yeah, it happened. It's done with. So that happened with Evander Kane. It's a shitty situation, honestly. You hate to see it. Evander Kane seems like a pretty good guy. I certainly wanted to see him. Maybe that's why he wanted to fight Logan Paul. Or Jake Paul, whoever the fuck, whichever one it was. So moving on to the final thing we're going to talk about in this podcast, and that is going to be about the rookies so far. All right, and that first rookie we're going to talk about, number 1 pick in the draft last year, Alexis Lafreniere. Eddie, he's on your favorite team. So through 2 games so far, how's Alexis Lafreniere been? What do you think?
All right, he looks like one of those cases where while he doesn't have any points yet, he still looks pretty good. Like he looks really good with the puck. He looks confident with the puck. I think it's just like it's
matter of time.
Matter of time before he does something fucking ridiculous and makes all the highlight reels.
One question. Do you think we could end up seeing another Jack Hughes type situation with Lafreniere?
I don't know, because Lafreniere has been compared to Sidney Crosby himself.
I know.
Sidney Crosby
Jack Hughes was just a decent first-round pick.
Exactly, but to compare Lafreniere's junior stats to a top 10 player of all time.
All time, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he's just having a bit of a slow start.
Yeah, it's been 2 games, so.
Exactly. It's been 2 games. He's a year older than you and I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. That's fucking crazy to think about.
Yeah, no, like realistically to say, like, I don't know, to take him out of the Calder race already is
insane.
A joke too.
That's a joke, yeah, absolute joke. So how about the other Rangers rookie? How's he been so far?
Shesterkin. All right. So the thing with Shesterkin is, I don't know. It was the Islanders, so I'm gonna give it a bye just because we always play shitty against the Islanders. But I don't know why Georgiev wasn't starting, because he actually, statistically speaking, he's actually really good against the Islanders.
And he proved that he got a shutout.
Exactly. So I don't think Shesterkin's really a problem.
Mm-mm.
He looked too good. He looked way too good for him to. Again, it's just the beginning of the season. It's slow starts. No shame in that.
Yeah, it's 1 game, 2 games.
Tomorrow night on the 19th, Georgiev is starting against the Devils. So one could assume the game after that, Shesterkin house back in net.
Hey, well, if Georgiev has another good game, fucking ride the hot hand. Fuck it, bro. Ride the hot hand.
Of course, yeah.
So moving on to another goal but I'm moving on to another rookie that has not been too hot this year. He actually has no games played so far. That's Quinton Byfield. Because he's not on the NHL roster. Quinton Byfield got sent down to the AHL. So he's playing with the What's the Ontario Reign? I think that's the
Yep.
Kings. The Ontario. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so he's playing with Ontario. Actually, Ontario's not even playing, so he's doing nothing right now. Playing a junior maybe. So, pretty crazy. He didn't make the lineup.
Well, first off, it's crazy he didn't make the lineup because it's the Los Angeles Kings. That roster is really bad. But I want you to think, who's the last second overall pick that has not started in the NHL in their first year?
We're going back a couple years.
Yeah, because last year, pick number 2 was Kakko.
Kakko, he played. 2019 was why am I blanking?
So 2019 was Kakko.
Dahlin was number 1. Oh, 2019. Oh, fuck. 2018. That's my bad. So Dahlin, and then who the fuck was picked second? Fuck. Who was taken second? Yeah, we're horrible.
It wasn't Svechnikov, was it?
No, wait. No, was it? Well, regardless, Svechnikov played. No, it was Svech. I think it was Svech. Had to have been, right?
Well, yeah, 2018 was
I know it was
Dahlin.
That was a Dahlin year. I just forgot who went second. I think it was Svechnikov.
It was Svech. Svech.
So 2017, that was the Hischier, Nolan Patrick year. So Patrick played. 2016 was Matthews Eichel year. 2015 was
Matthews.
No, Matthew Line, my bad. 2015 was McDavid Eichel year. 2014 was Ekblad. Who won second? 2014 was that the year? Was it 2014? Nah, there's no way. 2014 was I think Doughty was up. Nah, not Doughty. Reinhart played. Did he? Wait, did Reinhart play? He went out and played.
The point I'm making is God. The fact that we have to think this hard about it is...
Dude, we couldn't even know who went second in 2018. Fucking A. I'm allowed to look it up.
And this makes Kings fans worried because Tim Stutzel has made the Ottawa Senators roster.
Is that much of an accomplishment, though?
No, but then again, the Kings roster isn't much better. Some would argue it's worse. I understand they're two completely... Granted, they're two completely different players, but you'd want your second overall pick to be playing immediately.
Oh, no, 100%. That's not a... He was really good in the World Juniors, though. No, I'd say both of them, honestly. Both of them had really good years and everything. Dude, I genuinely don't know who the second overall pick was. The last one not to play.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that that's difficult for us to... It doesn't matter who. It matters that it's fucking difficult for us to find out. That's how long ago it was.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, let's get off that. I'll figure it out. We'll tweet it out. So, another rookie that really hasn't had to worry about a bit of a slow start. Let's talk about Kirill Kaprizov. What a start to the year it's been for him. Playing on Minnesota, a team that's really isn't regarded as that great of a team. They have a lack of center depth. But Kaprizov's been pretty amazing so far. He had a nice overtime breakaway winner that kind of went off his skate a little bit, but hey, still went in. Looked pretty cool. He's also had 2 assists that game, if I recall correctly. So he has at least 3 points in the season already. Could have another one. Could have 4. Probably. I think he still has 3. So he has 3 points in 2 games. So he's point per game already. He's had a really solid start, proving that he's living up to the hype of Minnesota. How do you think of Kaprizov's start?
To be honest, it was, in my opinion, like a little expected. He's 23 years old. He is still technically a rookie. However, he's had all that time to develop, and I think the KHL, was it, right?
Yes, sir.
So in the KHL, pretty much the Russian NHL, and he's already producing there. He's, like I said, he's 23. He's almost like Kubalik, except like this one was premeditated this time.
Yeah.
I think like maybe almost to say like Kubalik kind of like set the scale, say like, okay, if you're, doesn't matter where you're drafted, if you're a rookie but you're older and you produced in the KHL, then yeah, you're, because Kaprizov was taken in the 5th round.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jesus Christ, that's ridiculous that he got taken that late, and he's just burst onto the scene now. He played a couple years over in the KHL, really killed it over there. and he's living up to the hype. That's all I can say. Kaprizov's here, and he's here to stay. So moving on from another rookie from Russia. Don't know if he played in the KHL at all, but Shankovic, is that how you say it?
Sharangovich.
Sharangovich. So he's out there playing with the Devils on the first line with, I think it's Hischier. So he's playing on the top line with Nico Hischier. And really no one expected this kid to really come out and be anything. He made the Devils out of camp, playing on the top six with them. So, hey, good for him. He scored an overtime winner, I think, a couple nights ago. How do you think about his start so far?
You're never going to guess. Age 22, drafted in the 5th round. I think he played in Russia.
He probably, Kevin LeBanc scored, tip in. Let's go, boys.
Thing with Sharangovich is he was one of those players that I didn't know about him until training camp, and he's one of those players where I never really saw him play too much. I get to see it tomorrow because he's playing the Rangers. But I don't know why, but the Chuckin Muffins Twitter follows a really weird amount of Devils fans.
Odd.
So a lot of them are like really high on Sharangovich. And like I said, like Hischier, you keep calling him Hischier. I'm just gonna keep calling him Hischier.
I've heard it both ways.
Hischier being the fucking best forward on the team, and then after that, it's kind of just declined. So I mean, there's plenty of room for him to.
Palmer's not bad.
Yeah, he's
top 6 hard.
But yeah, no, he's gonna have a good year. I could feel it. He if he plays all 56 games, 20-something points season.
There. You want to know another rookie that's had a pretty decent start so far? John freaking Leonard, baby. Made the Sharks out of camp, straight from the NCAA. He's playing on the second line with Hurdle and Kane. He's had a pretty decent start so far. Actually, I saw one chart. It was some advanced analytics start. So I'll be honest, I really don't know how to read those. But the line of Hurdle, Kane, and Leonard was the best in that advanced stat so far through those whatever how many games. So, I mean, that's got to prove something. So Leonard had a pretty decent start. I'm pretty sure he's got a couple points to start the year. I don't know if he's got his first goal yet, but he's definitely got his first point. 2 assists? Yeah, 2 assists. That's what it is. I know he had a couple points. I know he didn't score yet. So pretty decent start so far for Leonard. Hopefully he's going to keep it up. I expect big things to come for him. What do you think about the start so far?
He's coming from college, and that's I don't know why that's severely overlooked because I think Jimmy Vesey set a bad example for that when he kind of just flopped at the Rangers. But players that come out of college, they mostly have a really big impact because like I don't know how to explain it. Like I don't really know why, but like Derek Stepan did it. Derek Stepan had like 50-something points in his rookie season coming out of college. John Leonard could be similar.
I know Tyler Bozak came out of college, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why that name came to mind, but he was pretty good for a couple of years of the Leafs. So, hey, there's no slouches coming out of college here. So hopefully we got big things to come for John Leonard. He's got a pretty good shot, pretty good winger. Hopefully he could continue his progression through the ranks. Hopefully stay on the Sharks top 6 because we certainly need top 6 forwards. So we were about to wrap this one up, and that face is gonna be really funny when I edit this. But we realized that we did not talk about Matthew Barzal. That's me right now. Clearly, my fucking little ass brain, I fucking forgot. Arguably, like the biggest thing that happened. So Matthew Barzal signs $7 million for 3 years. These things look so fucking. I dropped my pen, but Matthew Barzal signs $7 million, 3 years. I know you expect him to get offer sheeted for the longest time. That does not happen. He signs with the New York Islanders, and that deal takes him to RFA at the end of this deal. So, pretty good deal for the New York Islanders. Pretty good deal for Barzal too. What do you think?
So, all right. Well, first off, Barzal's agent needs to be fired because that's an immense underpayment. I feel like, especially for a 3-year term, that's not even going to take the UFA.
I thought he'd take a deal that would take him right to UFA. Sign a nice 4-year, 5-year deal.
I'll give Lou credit. He got a good contract out of this one after unethically forcing Boychuk into retirement, which is still morally despicable. You should be ashamed of yourself. However, he did use that money to get Barzal on a really good contract, 3 years for $7 million, and it takes him to RFA.
Solid
He's not
contract.
that's really fucking good.
It
Like,
also shows that Barzal wants to stay long term in New York. Because if he didn't,
yeah,
he'd take a 4-year deal, take him straight to UFA, and then he'd leave.
no,
So proves he wants to stay.
I couldn't imagine wanting to stay with that organization. In fact, mental health illness runs rampant in New York. It seems.
We live in New York.
Yeah,
You've played yourself.
I didn't know exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
No, but seriously though, incredible contract. Don't know how Lou swung that one. Yeah, again, like I said, Barzal's agent needs to be fired. I don't know. I sincerely, like 3 years for $7 million. That seems ludicrous to me.
No, it really is.
I'd figured if it's going to be a 3-year deal that he'd be making closer to 9 something.
That's what
I'm pretty
I
sure some were speculating he could get 10 mil if he played his cards right.
I figured that 10 would have been on like a 8-year to 7-year deal though.
Yeah, that exactly. If he stays for a while.
Bridge deal, yeah, that makes sense for a $7 million AAV. And the Sharks are up 2-0. Go, baby. Sure, scored on the fucking wall. All right, so yeah, Barzal signs. Also, some other signings in the Islanders. They signed bottom 6 forward Matt Martin to a 4-year deal, as no one's surprised. Gets 1.5 for the next 4. They're at it again, paying bottom 6 forwards. I don't know. It's not as bad, but we're also in a global pandemic world where 1.5 is a pretty decent amount of money. That's like saying Matt Martin's $0.2 million less than Eric Howla.
I don't really. The money's fine because Matt Martin's a decent player and all, but like, why 4 years?
No, honestly, the cap is too high in my opinion. I'm not paying Matt Martin 1.5 to just go out there and hit people. I can go get someone else that's making $700K to go do that. In my opinion, and for 4 years,
like the Islander fans that we know, like
yeah,
their defense is like Matt Martin's been like, he's been an Islander for so long, like he's like he's an Islander, like he's gonna retire an Islander, like that's fine and all, just like why pay him that much?
Yeah, like Clutterbuck's making 3+, Suzuki's making 3+, Matt Martin's making, I'd say $500K too much, and 2 years too much, I'd say. I don't know, man. It's if Islander fans are good with it, whatever. Be happy with your bottom 6 forwards and getting terms, so whatever.
He's gonna be 35 by the end of that deal.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Whatever. They also signed Andy Green to a $700K for 1-year deal. That's solid. I like Andy Green. Solid top 6 defender.
Underrated player.
Nope, seriously. Great player with the Devils so many years. Good locker room presence. I like that contract. It's kind of expected from a couple weeks. I'd say a couple months now. So he resigns there. He'll be pretty decent. But yeah, besides forgetting Barzal, I'm pretty sure we're about ready to wrap this one up. So if you want to hit us with the outro real quick.
Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast, and sorry again for the super long delay between this podcast and our last one. Make sure to watch our future podcasts. We're coming out with 2 podcasts a week. Make sure to watch our clips that come out. Make sure to watch our previous podcast and have a good one.
Peace, boys.